You need to remain peaceful, no matter what, and I tell you why. Trump isn't afraid of riots or radical rebellions. He's afraid of broad, peaceful movements, and that's because of a simple number, 3.5%. According to researchers, that's all it takes. If just 3.5% of the population joins non-violent protests, history shows regimes can fall. In the US, that's around 12 million people. Now guess how many showed up on April 5 for their hands-off protests? About 5 million. That's a lot, but not enough. So what's the solution? Opening up the protest to the broader public, reaching beyond the activist bubble, to the millions of people who are neither MAGA nor very left-wing. They're not used to activism. Some of them don't care much about politics, others are afraid for their reputation or their job. That's why many hesitate. But you just need a few of them. It might take time and trust for them to join, but they are the key to reach that 3.5%. And that's exactly what Trump fears. Not radicals, not chaos, but a peaceful, broad, democratic movement. He recently saw something shift. Churches, moderates, and even disillusioned conservatives started forming alliances with activists. And at the same time, he lost support from parts of his own base like Elon Musk. So what did Trump do? He provoked Los Angeles. He needed chaos, not to stop deportations, but to break the movement before it could grow. And after the riot police attacked, harassed, and traumatized people, even though most protesters stayed peaceful, some gave into anger. Some burned cars, some clashed with the police. That's exactly what Trump wanted. That's the footage he wanted for his propaganda, and he's determined to be as cruel as possible to get it. Now he sends in the military to reach his actual goal in regards of the protest, to frame the movement as so radical that the broader public won't dare to join. That's the important factor. He wants to drive a wedge between the activists and the broader public. That's why he claims that this is a rebellion. Usually, you first need a rebellion and then the military gets deployed. Now, he first sends the military to be able to call it a rebellion afterward. Because if you can label a peaceful protest as an uprising, you scare away the broader public and stop the movement from reaching the 3.5%. You prevent the public from joining. The soldiers in the streets, they're not the end goal. They're a message for the people who will see this, for them to think, if this isn't a rebellion, he wouldn't deploy the military. His real goal in Los Angeles is to discredit the movement so deeply that it never gets close to the 3.5%. So what do we do now? Stay peaceful, even when it's hard. These peaceful movements are no show of weakness, they are a show of force on their own. Open the movement, talk to moderates, churches, anyone who's anti-Trump, stop the wars inside the movement, de-radicalize the tone, not to appease but to grow. Because let's be real, you can't win a guerrilla war against the world's strongest executive branch. You can't outgun them, you can't outlie them, but you can beat them in the one game they've never mastered. Peace. A decentralized, peaceful movement that builds bridges that last for months or even years, that grows steadily across the country, that scares the living hell out of Trump. He got enough troops and vehicles to not care about riots, but a movement like that will challenge him more than every riot combined. Little side note, by the love of God, don't call yourself 3.5%ers. Criminal motorcycle gangs call themselves 1%ers, and we don't want any kind of connection to people like that. Some people might celebrate radical actions and labels, but that's not the goal here. The goal is reaching everyday Americans and inviting them into the movement to reach the crucial number to oppose Trump more effectively. So if you're watching this and you're not part of a movement yet, this is your invitation. Not to fight, not to riot, but to stand up peacefully for the US democracy. Because 3.5% is not just a number, it's a choice, it's a tipping point, and it's up to all of us to reach it. To stop Trump from ending US democracy, from taking away our freedom and from destroying the United States as we know it. The movement against Trump is not a rebellion. It's a democratic uprising to defend democracy itself, peacefully, together, before democracy becomes a memory.
Violent optics do persist. Like really bad. Burning cars, highway blocks, tactical gear versus flag bearers. The medium turns the just cause into a chaotic image of fear and disruption. So visual peace with narrative cohesion is necessary, right? Narrative precision, visual peace, protest art, grandmothers on the front lines, cultural symbols of peace. There's a way things need to look. This is what I mean by the narrative warfare.
Do not listen to what the people are saying. LA is not a fucking war zone right now. I am in the heart of the protest right now, and things have been so peaceful ever since we moved away from the police officers. There was about 2 hours straight of the police officers shooting down from the rooftops of buildings like these. Anyone who's saying that these protests are violent is not here. They are not here.
My grandma, who only watches Fox News, she called me today. She said, "You need to get out of LA. LA is burning. Aren't you scared?" Meanwhile, this is what's going on in LA. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. I got snacks.